Woman is in jail this morning accused in a murder for hire plot against her ex-husband. We've been following this story for you since Friday, and our Amelia Young is joining us live from the Williamson County Courthouse this morning. So, Amelia, what do we know about this so far?
Well, Ben, still very limited details. I mean, it's extremely limited here. But like you said, 55-year-old Angie Solomon is behind bars in the Williamson County Jail. She's being held on a $500,000 bond still this morning after being arrested on Friday. Franklin police, along with the TBI, made that arrest prior to the weekend. She again is charged with solicitation to commit first-degree murder against her ex-husband. Angie was married to Aaron Solomon, a former local news anchor. You might recognize the name. Franklin police, they have not released any other information as to what led up to this arrest. Of course, this is something that we are going to continue to follow every single step of the way, expecting more to come of this case. But of course, we'll continue to follow this on air and online, so stick with us there.
Does the local news really not know this family saga and the alleged events that led up to this tragic arrest? I'm Lauren Conlin, and it's been a minute. The last episode of Corruption, What Happened to Grant Solomon, was in June of 2024 when I decided to step away as I felt like there was nothing further I could do at the time to investigate Grant's death, especially being all the way here in New York City when everything that I was trying to cover was all the way in Tennessee. And while I have not been in direct contact with Angie or Gracie since last June, I have always continued to pray for them, pray for their well-being, and I've supported them from afar. Life can pull you in a million different directions, and one minute you're going hard on a case, and the next minute things can just get complicated, if that makes sense. But needless to say, things in their world appeared to be great. I mean, Angie made this post, I believe it was September in 2024, where she said, "We're good. It's going to be quiet for a while. We're reflecting." And I always say, no news is good news. And it's interesting because I always think about Angie and Gracie at the start of baseball season because of Grant. And my kids just started baseball, so they had been on my mind lately. And as many of you are aware, or many of you have sent me messages, so I'm assuming many of you are aware. But if you are not, it breaks my heart to report that Angie was arrested by the TBI and the Franklin Police Department on Friday, April 11th, 2025, and has been charged with solicitation to commit first-degree murder, a Class B felony that carries 8 to 12 years in Tennessee, and they have set her bail at $500,000. I am gutted. I am shocked. I was just as shocked as the rest of you were upon hearing this awful news. And of course, I have so many questions, and there's a lot that just can't be answered at the moment. But I know that Gracie has always been Angie's number one priority, and I can't imagine how she is feeling right now. I did speak to a source that is close to them, and they confirmed that physically Gracie is okay and well cared for, but I am sure she could use your prayers. And today is Monday, April 14th, and Angie did appear at the Williamson County General Sessions Court with supporters, and I was told that Aaron Solomon was also in attendance, and Angie was appointed a public defender for now, and she will appear in court tomorrow, April 15th, for a bond hearing where she will most likely request a bail reduction. If you're not aware, you are required to put up 10% of your bail, which would be $50,000 for Angie, and that's a lot of money. Now, I do have the arrest affidavit in front of me. I received it this morning from the county clerk's office, and I will read directly from it. This is just surreal. Quote, On April 11th, 2025, at approximately 2:15 p.m., Angie Solomon met with an undercover law enforcement officer acting as a, quote, hitman in the parking lot area of 1800 Galleria Boulevard, Franklin, Williamson County, Tennessee, for the express purpose of hiring him to murder her ex-husband, Aaron Solomon. Angie Solomon promised future payment to the undercover officer, as well as provided the registration to her vehicle as a form of initial collateral payment for Aaron Solomon to disappear and be put underground. Angie stated that this would provide her daughter access to a trust fund. Angie Solomon provided the undercover with information on how he could find Aaron Solomon, places he may work, and the area where he lives. This constitutes the offense of solicitation to commit first-degree murder per TCA 39-12-10239-13-202. End quote. Now, the term put underground, that wasn't in quotes. I'm not sure if that came from Angie or from the police who typed up the affidavit, but wow, that is an interesting way to phrase things. I also reached out to the Franklin Police Public Information Officer who gave me this quote, quote, "The only other thing I can share on the record that's not in the affidavit is that this investigation started a couple of weeks ago after we received some information from a concerned citizen." End quote. The concerned citizen part is really interesting. And lastly, just details-wise, apart from her bond hearing tomorrow, the affidavit states that the next court date is on May 29th, 2025 at 1 p.m. CST. And per some of the locals in the area, the judge that is presiding over Angie's case right now has a good reputation, and she's also female, Judge Denise Andre. So we'll see what happens there. I am heartbroken over this. It was so difficult for me to try and script this out for an update, for an episode. I mean, I know in my heart that Angie trusted no one. She literally trusted nobody. So yes, I have so many questions that I hope will be cleared up soon. And look, there is a lot of chatter online. This was a setup. Undercover law enforcement, how convenient. Well, if that's true, then entrapment would be Angie's defense, wouldn't it? I mean, if it was done through coercion or deceit or crossing the line in general, that will all come out in court. We have to wait and see what happens. In the meantime, I will provide the best updates that I possibly can right now from New York City through this podcast and possibly a video on my YouTube channel, which is Pop Crime TV. And that's where I've been publishing most of my content this past year. But one thing that is getting to me is that when the local media has covered Angie's arrest, they just report the arrest. They don't go into any context about the entire family saga, and they don't have to go deep. Just a sentence or two to provide a little bit of context around Grant, Gracie's allegations, or anything besides just posting Angie's mugshot. And I've also had a few people ask me about the GoFundMe account that was set up a while back, and I don't have any information about that right now. As I said, I have not been involved with anything regarding Grant's investigation for almost a year. All right, guys, I will try to get another update out tomorrow or Wednesday. I am also posting any updates I receive in real time on my X account, which is at Conlin_Lauren. And again, this feels surreal. Reporting this was not on my bingo card for this case. I never ever thought that Angie would be the one arrested in all of this, but hopefully we will get more information soon. Thank you all for listening. Stay tuned for updates.